How's everyone doing? I'm doing great. I did want to share some great news. My proposal that's being held by the Texas Council of Teachers of English Language Arts has been accepted, and I will be going to share my knowledge and my expertise in a roundtable. I chose the roundtable just because I didn't feel like doing a presentation by myself this time. But I am completely honored and I am so excited. So I'll be heading to Texas for, I believe, a couple days, and I'm excited about that. I have been to Texas before. I absolutely love it. I feel as though the teachers there are open to new information, and ways to support their students. I can't explain it, but when I went there the last time, which was I think in 2020, I felt so welcomed with my information and supported the whole conference. I mean, they put a lot of work into these events, and they just are. It's very well organized. Everyone there is so kind, and it's just an incredible experience. And everyone there is so nice. The teachers there are nice. Everyone's there for one thing, to share knowledge with people and to support their students, and to create, in creating a classroom that's inclusive and engaging and supportive. And I don't know how else to say it, but I'm excited about that. So I just want to share that. My book is still in progress, so uh, it's still being worked on, still going through copy editing, still going through that whole process. So I will let you guys know once all it is said and done. And that's about all. How I hope you guys, your week is going well. Um, so I was thinking, because I have what's called a new line. I'm sure a lot of teachers do. It's like an overhead projector. And so I was thinking, like, okay, so if we want feedback from our students, right, in real time, you can I put a survey at the end of the lesson. Basically, it's pretty casual. It's like 3 or 4 questions, really quick questions, where students can, tell me what's going right, what's going wrong, and how can I help them. It's very simple. How can you help your students? And it's anonymous. I didn't want them to put down their emails or anything like that. It's better sometimes to be anonymous. But I just think you know, students will be honest with you about, how they're feeling. And some kids were saying really sweet things, like, I think I asked them, do you feel prepared? And many of them said yes, and then they added it's because of their teacher. And I thought that was very sweet and very kind of them. Sometimes you don't know, if you're effective as a teacher. I just don't know. Sometimes you go into it, you don't know. They're goofy. Teenagers are goofy. They're laughing about silly things, and I'm like, what is so funny about this? But at the end of the day, they see that you're there, you're showing up, you're there every day, at least you try to be, and that you really do want them to succeed. That's it. That's the key. How do you want them to succeed? Or how do you want to show them that you want them to succeed, that you want them to be successful citizens when they leave your classroom? That, one thing about me is that I really do care about these kids. I do. And there is sometimes I feel like they're reluctant, or they don't want to, do these things because motivation or whatnot. But there is something in the way. I mean, part of it is what you create in the classroom, you know? Okay, so they may be having literacy issues. They may not be able to read at a level you want them to read, but they do want to level up to that. They want to learn. They want to figure out ways to sort of help themselves. So how are you going to do that as a teacher? How are you going to help them help themselves? Um, and, you know, and then the frustrated ones, you can always tell that they're frustrated. I mean, sometimes they've just been passed along their whole academic lives without really anyone sitting them down and saying, okay, this is what we need to work on. And when they get to me, which is the high school level, whether it's 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and they're not able to, you know, read basic sentences or answer certain questions, you know, you really do have to do the hard work as a teacher, you know, sort of figure out, you know, it's like swimming, figuring out what the real issues are, right? If you're swimming in an ocean is not, you know, it's not clear, right? There's fish, there's, you know, green stuff, swampy things, marine life. There's all this stuff in there, and you're swimming through, trying to figure out how to, you know, get away from that stuff, without impacting it negatively. It's somewhat like that when you're dealing with students and trying to figure out what the issues are, what is in their way, you know, is it the fish, you know, that's a metaphor, obviously, fish, what fish are in their way, what marine life is in their way, what is tangling them up. It's hard to figure out sometimes, and these surveys help figure that out, you know, so that they can swim safely and get through everything and get to the end of the ocean without, you know, successfully. So that is what I do enjoy doing. I enjoy trying to help them get to the end of the ocean successfully, and try to get rid of all of that, the marine life, things that are getting in their way, the things that are tangling them up, right? What is tangling them up? And I like solving problems. I like figuring things out. I'm not a math person, but I definitely like trying to solve mysteries. And sometimes we are dealing with mysteries in our classrooms, right? We don't know what's going on. And I know we don't have a lot of time in the day, a lot of time in the year to figure this out. But it is something that we do have to try to do as teachers, right? That's what we signed up for. That's what we paid all this money for, to go through, you know, our degree programs. And so it's what I enjoy doing. That's why I did 3 master's degrees and a PhD, so I can figure things out for students and help them in any way that I can. And they do see the true care. Those surveys are great. If you make them anonymous, they don't have to put in their email or their name or anything like that. But they're very honest. You do get some kids that are smarty pantses, and they'll respond in funny ways. But for the most part, they're really honest. And they do know when a teacher really cares about them. They know who's going the extra mile for them. And so, you know, it's exciting to figure things out, and it can be a little frustrating too. Like, there's one student who we're trying to get to submit something for his Spanish class, and I've had this student before in the past, and he's very capable of doing work, and he's very, like, he can do it, but there's a motivation thing with him, and so we're trying to resolve that, and so he can get through the class that he is trying to get through. But you know, it takes time, it takes patience. patience, and it takes, a lot of grit to get through that with your students. And I say with because you have to do it with them, not at them. And sometimes I'm guilty of that, talking at them. And it's just been if it's been a long day for me, I do that sometimes, and it's not good. You have to be with them the whole way. Like, what can I do? How can I support you? How can I complement your learning style, your learning process? So anyway, that's all. So I hope that motivates you to, to continue this process of teaching and solving problems. But anyway, that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the views, the likes. I guess I haven't gotten any likes, so please try to like if you can. And thank you very much. Try to subscribe. Please subscribe. It's very important to subscribe because I do need more subscribers. If you can, if you subscribe, you don't. I know it's annoying sometimes to get those notifications. You don't have to get notified. You can figure out. You can subscribe without getting notified. But anyway, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for the views. Thank you for everything. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. Bye.